Okay, so let's finish up the stream talking a little bit about testing, okay? Because as you know, with Laravel Breeze, we ship with a full feature test, with a full test suite for you. So as you can see, if I click on tests, I have these two folders, featured in unit. And when I click on feature, I have these authentication tests that check if the login screen can be rendered. Or for example, if I click on, let's see, registration test, I can see that new users can register. And if I go to my terminal, I can simply type vendor bin passed to run my entire test suite, and things are passing as expected. If you are not very familiar with testing, let me know, and I can probably make a live stream just about testing and kind of teach you the ropes if you wish. Testing is a very important skill for any web developer or even regular developers because it's pretty much something that allows you to save time. You don't have to do those testings manually with a real browser. You can simply write it once, and then you have this fully automated test running all the time. And the real example is the fact that here we have 26 tests running in less than 2 seconds, and probably running these 26 tests manually would be so much more time. Now, we also had this full test suite being copied to your application code, so you can leverage this test suite in the past. However, using something like Livewire and Volt, we had to tweak a little bit the test suite to make it kind of okay for Livewire, okay? So something we are doing, for example, is, let me show you, for example, this profile test. Okay, to test that the profile page is being displayed, something we are doing first is obviously authenticate one user, and then when we visit the profile page, we assert to see those Vault components. Okay, so that's the very first test we write on every single page, is that when you visit this particular URL, I do expect to see my Vault component. That's the most important thing to do as a first test, okay? Now, once you do this first test, you assert that the page is okay, is rendering correctly the necessary Livewire components. The second thing you need to do is test in isolation each one of those components. So let's take a look about, for example, this update profile information form. And as you may know, this is the form we have when we go to the profile page. So if I go, for example, to this email, I'm going to register this user real quick. If I go to profile, I get to see obviously the profile page, but this particular profile information, this is only one component, okay? So once we test that we can see this particular component, we need to actually test this component. That's exactly what we are doing on the second test, okay? We are saying, okay, Vault, let's test this particular component, call it profile dot update profile information form. When I give you the given test username in the given email and call the update profile information, which is, by the way, this particular action right here. And then you set the expectations at the end. I obviously expect the component to not have any errors. I expect the component to not perform any kind of redirect, but I also expect at the same time that my username got properly updated, my user email got properly updated, and so on and so on, okay? So we have a full featured test suite right there for you. So you start your project with Laravel Breeze, with Livewire, with Vault, and 26 full test suites ready to go, which is pretty cool, right? Have this test suite ready to go and allows you to smoke test your application entirely, okay? And that's it in terms of contents of this live stream. Now it's the last moment. If you have any questions or if you just want to say something to me, we are going to read the chat and terminate the stream for today. Okay. Gomez is saying the state from the parent component to the child component like props in Vue.js. Great question. So now I get what you were asking for at the beginning. Let's imagine for a second we have this update profile form information, and you wish to, for example, send the user ID from the parent component. The only thing you have to do is just type this, like user ID. Okay? So if the parent component passes a prop with the name user ID, this user ID will have the value given by the parent component. However, if not, that will be just regular null. So there is no particular syntax you have to do. If the parent component is passing a prop, that prop will take priority in terms of value, or that prop's value. You know what I mean? It's super simple. So Pum-Yapal is saying that, oh, the chat stuff from UI, it's not a separate window. It's in code only, just interacts with your code and give you changes in your code at the same time. Okay, I will double check that and let you know if it's actually cool. Mauricio is saying, I would like a basic one-on-one live stream with past and testing. Yeah, maybe I can do that, you know. I need a real reason, you know, because recently I like to do live streams on the stuff I'm currently working on. For example, I have built Pale, and I was just finishing building Pale, and I was super excited about showing you this new stuff. So I have just done it. And then today, about Livewire, I just finished the functional API, so I was really excited to see what people are thinking about it. So typically I like to do live streams of stuff I'm excited about, but we never know. Maybe I will work on something regarding testing real soon, and I can do a live stream about testing as well. Can we jet streamers get into the fun too? Yeah, so I think I have done the Livewire version of... No. I remember now. So for Jetstream, I have upgraded the Livewire version from V2 to V3. But indeed, there is no vault. I don't think even the components are published to the application. Is resources, views directory. So there is some stuff to improve here for sure regarding Jetstream. Okay, Tuto is saying, I would use... Oh, Tuto is answering to Gobes. I will use properties to paste a state down to a child component. Exactly. Properties on the class-based API are regular state using the functional API. But I think it's better way would be use events if you need to update the state of the parent component. It's a very good point. Let me show you an example here. So when I go to the Vault documentation, we have something called events. This is not like Vault stuff. This is Livewire stuff, by the way. But something you can do is just dispatch events and then capture those events and those values to update your component state. I'm going to give you an example. I think Livewire actually have a very good example with to-dos. Let me check if they still have that. Oh, they don't have the to-do stuff. Let me check if they have something that is really straightforward to understand here. Oh, I think they have reactive component. I don't know. Anyways, so if you would do like, let's write the code. It's just easier. Okay. So if you have like two components, this is the parent and this is the child, for example. If on the child you want to update, you have like something like add to do equal to a function, you know. And this would pretty much add a to-do. Something you could do is type something like this. Dispatch, increment, to-do count, for example. Or even just basically dispatch refresh to-do count. You know, refresh to-do count. On the parent component, something you could do is capture that event like this on refresh to-do count. And then you will have a function that will update your count of to-dos with the real value or the current value of the to-dos. So this is like the event approach of communicating between parents and childs. I know some of this stuff can be done with props as well, especially now that Livewire have this thing called reactive props. I don't know whether they have that anymore though. Let me double check that. Maybe under properties, and now we can have reactive properties. Anyways, I know that Livewire now have this thing called reactive properties. Okay, there you go. So there is this new section called nested components, and within nested components, you can now pass a property to the underlying component like this, and you can make this stuff reactive so you don't have to kind of play with events. I know that Caleb told me there is some trade-off to do with reactive props, as there is some more boilerplate actually being sent to the browser. So anyways, just to recap, there is two ways of approaching this: events or with props or reactive props, but there is some trade-offs to do or trade-offs to deal with. Gomez is saying it's possible to make a live stream on Laravel 0. Maybe. Laravel 0 is this project that it's been a while that I actually work with it, you know. Pretty much Owen Vogue, which is the co-creator of Laravel 0, have been doing all the stuff there recently. But Laravel 0 is this project that is like finished, you know. It's a very easy project to build a CLI application, probably the most popular framework for CLI in the world at the moment. And it's easy to get started, but if you want, I can try to make a live stream about it. Not sure. Arif is saying, I like to use Livewire as a full page component. Personally, I don't use Volt. That's okay. So some of the examples on Breeze are full page components, as you have seen. But yeah, Breeze at the moment is fully built on top of Livewire Volt. And that's it. I hope everyone have enjoyed the stream today. Thank you so much, and forgive me my excitement about Livewire and everything, but I cannot contain myself. I simply love this stuff. Thank you so much for being on that side once again. You guys always show up to my streams, which is pretty cool to see always a full room of people interacting with me on the chat, but also sending me some messages at the end. I also like you all, and yeah, let's just keep this momentum of live streams going on. Yesterday, I've made a poll about contents you wish to see on these live streams, and Breeze live stream was something that people were requesting. So if you have some more requests, just let me know on Twitter. Thank you so much for your support, and I see you all next time.